How y'all doing? Welcome to With the Nupes, a podcast where brotherhood, leadership, culture, and success come together. Hosted by the Big Money Beta Mu chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi. This platform brings real conversation, real experiences, and insight from Nupes making an impact on campus and in the communities. From the tales of the Nupes to Kappa conversations and Big Money News, we're highlighting stories, wisdom, and moves that shape the next generation of leaders in partnership with Magic 807 Radio, tuned in and tap into the brotherhood. I'm your guest, Andre Phillips, current pole mark of the Big Money Beta Mu chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi. I'm here with my guest.
Dantae Robinson, Spring 17 in this year, the Eta Omega chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated.
Okay. And today we are talking about financial literacy, a topic that I feel that every college student, not even just college student, but like every adult should have or should be in because not a lot of people are financially literate. Would you agree with that statement?
For sure, for sure.
Um, okay. So so I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
Fact. And today we're giving real tips where if you learned, I'm gonna give you obviously you got more tips than I do about
hmm
financial literacy, but you know, let's start with budgeting.
Okay.
It might sound boring, but it's really just telling your money where to go.
For sure.
So what is your big ordeal on budgeting? How important is budgeting?
Budgeting is very, very important. Like you said, is really where it starts. A lot of people may tell you save your money. A lot of people may tell you invest your money. A lot of people may tell you to be smart with your money and all of those things. Um, with all those different statements, I believe that budgeting comes first because, like you said, you have to understand how much money is coming in, but more importantly, where each dollar is going. To be able to build anything. And I know even in my journey, like the time when I got serious about budgeting was when I got serious about building and growing wealth. And like you said, a lot of people may look at it like it's boring or, it's not necessary. Like you kind of think you have it all up in your head, but I
Yeah,
promise you, until you actually start to track every single dollar, that's when you start to notice the subscriptions you're being charged for that you didn't know you were being charged for. That's when you start to realize, like, hey, I'm doing 1 to 2K a month just being on DoorDash versus, maybe cooking food and buying groceries. I can save an extra $1,500 a month. So I definitely would say budgeting is like one of the things I feel everyone should start with for sure.
okay. Um as you know, I'm a college student, so I don't really have too
Yeah.
much budgeting skills. If
Yeah.
I'm at the age right now, if I see it, I'm gonna buy it. You get what I'm saying? Especially if I got the money.
Yeah.
But I feel like starting young for budgeting is a great tool. Like
Yeah.
I remember one dude told me, he was an older cat. He told me you can invest into I think it's 401k or something like that.
Yeah.
And if you put money in your 401k once you retire, you'll have like I forget how much he said, but he'll be like you'll have $300,000 in your bank account or
Wow.
$100,000 in your bank account when you retire,
Yeah.
which is pretty nice when you get to 60, 70 years old and you
Now,
ain't got
I mean, if you start at your age, saying you go straight into your career,
Mhm.
and each year you max out your 401k, and especially if you got a job that will match it,
Yeah,
by 67, you definitely looking at like some millions. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So that's definitely, and I'm gonna be honest, when it comes to investing too, I know that's probably a category coming up, but when it comes to investing, there's so many simple strategies that you
yeah,
can apply. I think a lot of times, once again, with that, people overcomplicate it. People look at it like it's rocket science, where it's like it's really about sitting down and understanding what works best for you, and then just staying consistent at whatever you choose to do.
yeah,
For sure.
for sure. And that brings me into my next topic, saving while in college.
Yeah.
So how important is that saving while you're in college?
Very, very important. I'm gonna say this. When I speak and the advice that I give, I want people who hear this to know that genuinely it's in hindsight. Because when I was in college, I think one of the things that hinders college students is us embracing the term the broke college students.
Yeah.
People expect us to be broke. We expect us to be broke. Therefore, when we get money, we spend it leisurely. We're used to being broke, when
Yeah.
really, kind of like you said, like if you could start to build the good habit early, when you transition out of college and then even further into adulthood, a lot of different things would be simpler. And I remember when I was on campus, I've always had this entrepreneur-like mindset. I was always a go-getter. There was a lot of things I did on campus to make money. When I first got on campus, I remember it was a group that reached out to me and said, "Hey, you want to sell tickets for our homecoming parties? We'll give you 10% of all you did." I was the biggest ticket seller. Even the
Yeah.
dude told me, he was like, "Bro, you sell the most tickets out of the entire group put together." And it's because I looked at it like this was my income. I didn't have a job out here. You know what I'm saying? So this is all I had. So even though he was only giving me 10%, I made that 10% look really, really good. But over the years, I stepped back. I watched how he did things. I watched how he recruited the people he recruited, how he handled business with the venue, security, XYZ. And by the time my junior, senior year around, I actually was in competition with that dude. I said, "I'm gonna do this." You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You're not even on our campus. Everybody know me. They don't know you. So
Yeah.
I went from being a worker to an owner. And even then, when I really had some good money coming into my pockets, I still did nothing but spend it, got into trading. You know what I'm saying? I seen that as another avenue that can progress my financial situation and help me build wealth. And even then, as I made money, all I did was spend it. So what I would tell a college student today is, even though you feel like you may not have bills, even
Yeah.
though even if your income isn't as consistent, one, budget, and two, save what you can.
Yeah.
Seriously. And when it comes to saving, like I said, I have to mention budgeting, because when I first started to save, I budget. So I said, okay, this is what's coming in, so I don't care if it's an income that's consistent like a job. I don't care if it's like some entrepreneurship work where you may get paid every once and then. I got an Excel sheet. On one end of the Excel sheet, it was my income and what was coming in. So if today, like right now, if somebody just randomly gave me $500, I will go in and there will be an entry on 3/19. It will say March 19th, random gift, $500, showing that money came in for this particular month. And I would
Yeah.
do that with all of my incomes. Then on another one, I would simply have my expenses, whether that's your rent, tuition, right? You going to this, you going to that. So you could, like you said, know where your money is going. And once you first, only when it comes to expenses, only list the things you need to survive
Yeah.
first, right? So like I said, rent, if you got to pay for any type of water, if you got to pay like a car note, a phone bill, and it lists all that stuff first. And now you're able to look at what your financial situation is. So for an example, let's just say you got $2,000 coming in a month, and your major bills is saying you have $700 of expenses. Now you know, okay, I got every month I have a free $1,300. This is where you start to actually game plan. Like, okay, 300 is going into my savings, right? 500 of that, can go into investing. Another 300 can go if you want an emergency fund. And then, okay, this is going to be my 200 that I can work with, where if I want to go to a party, I'm going to use it from that. If I want to do something miscellaneous, I'm going to use it from that. And then when you out of that 200, that's where people say, "Yo, I'm out of my budget." I
Yeah.
had all the fun I could have this month based on what I'm making, but it allows you to stay the course and consistently grow and build. So, but a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people's biggest problem with saving is you try to save before you budget. So
Yeah.
what happens is you tuck this money away, but then you end up having to go into that savings and using it for something else because you didn't properly budget and have discipline and knowing where each dollar was going along the way. And like I
Yeah.
said, I'm speaking in hindsight, I made those very same mistakes.
And I have made a lot of those same mistakes too. And I'm related to the frat since since I've had the opportunity to join this noble clan.
For sure.
Um, a lot of the events and stuff we got to do, you got to plan ahead.
Yep.
You got to have money. You got to spend money to make money.
Yeah.
So what helped me was, you do whatever when it's just you. But
Yeah.
when it affects other people, it kind of makes you a little bit more leery of spending type of money and being more
Yeah.
cautious with the things that you spend and the things that you do.
Yeah.
Because see, when we put together an event, we college students, we ain't got $1,000 to get a venue. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got $1,000 just to put together and throw a party and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So, you know, it's all the stuff like that you got to budget and you got to save, whether that's the chapter's money or y'all coming together as a chapter and putting y'all money together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It really made me it kind of made me a hustler to an extent.
Yeah, for sure.
And it made me more savvy towards my spendings and my money, because when you got to keep track of money that's not just yours, but it's the whole chapters.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It kind of it just, I don't know, it just makes you a little bit more responsible in that term. You get what I'm saying?
Now I feel you 100%. I was pole mark when I was on the yard too. And you know, it's crazy. When I was pole mark, it was the first year we won, I believe it was small chapter of the year, and it was something else. Like I was going crazy. I had events planned for the whole semester. And I think it was only like 6 of us on the yard. So each person, I gave 2 people that was on the yard a month. I said, come up with idea. We need a community event. We need this event. We need this event. And I could say ultimately, kind of like you said, that experience really taught me, once again, like aspect of entrepreneurship. It taught me branding. It taught me public relations. It taught us how to carry ourselves, how to attract, you know what I'm saying? And just a lot of other different things. Like you said, planning, budgeting, and making sure that we had the money to do the things as well. So I definitely understand what you're saying, man.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, Kappa is a business.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit of this, and it takes some leg work. You get what I'm saying? Kappa is a business. But to transition into our next topic, investing. How do you invest first? Before I ask you how important it is, how do you invest properly, and what is the correct things to invest into?
Okay. So I invest my money, and I also invest into myself. You know what I'm saying? Before I look, like when I first transitioned out of college, I realized that myself is a brand. Myself, I'm a business, and I understood for any level I wanted to reach in life, I had to grow to that level. You know, so I always tell people, be willing to invest into you, whether that's going and purchasing a book and reading and learning new things, whether that's going into invest into some type of course or mentorship. I've always been willing to invest into me, right? But when it comes to actually investing my money, like I said, one of the first skill sets I learned was how to trade. And that was leverage-based trading. So it's not really investing, but it's more so taking advantage of the daily swings and profited from them, the daily swings of the market. When it comes to investing, I have a 401k. I invest heavily into the stock market, sparingly into the cryptocurrency market. And I'm looking to get into real estate pretty soon, you know. But those are the ways that I currently invest.
Okay. I don't do any investing. I don't really know too much about that. My mom is more savvy about that. I grew up on, if you don't know nothing about it, hey, look, leave it alone, because you can lose a lot of money trying to invest in the wrong things like stock. I even be seeing my mama do the little trade stuff. It looks so, I caught on a little bit, but it still just looks so foreign, because it's like it's a red line. I call it a red squiggly line and a red green squiggly line. And you did so many numbers, and it just looked confusing. But I caught on. I've been catching on a little bit. To stay on the topic of investing, like what could college students invest in per se?
That's a
other than themselves, instead of, well, obviously you want to emphasize the point of investing in yourself, because you always want to do that. But what kind of stock could they invest into that would propel a college student into
Listen, man. And I say that's a great question, because I want to say could have been 2023 or 2024. I can't really pinpoint it. But there were some Nupes that went to Virginia Union University, Alpha Gamma, and they started this thing, basically where Nupes who wanted to learn more about investing XYZ, we were all in a group, and we were going to learn from these professionals. So me and my line brother, we was actually the only two graduated Nupes that was a part of it. It was really an undergrad thing. And the very first call we got on was a guy, I believe he was a Nupe, and he was actually a hedge fund manager. And he gave one of the best tips ever. And I'm talking about, this is me as an adult. Just 2 years ago, I applied it. And I applied it on a low scale because I never really invest. And why I emphasize like on the low end is because I believe this is something that college students could do. But what I could see in hindsight, just 2 years from doing it, like, dang, bro, if I would have started this when I was in college, my life would look different. And what he basically told us is investing is really simple. Especially first, you got to understand the bigger picture and long term. So before I really give you the information I want to give you, I want to just once again express the importance of budgeting and having discipline. Because if you don't have discipline with your spending and knowing where your dollar goes, you're never going to see the gains that you want to see long term with investing, because eventually you're going to have to go in and get that money to pay for a bill or something important. So you really have to have a good foundation and structure where your life and your head is going to stay above water, and you actually have this extra money to kick out that you don't ever need to touch for whatever reason. And that's important because, once again, if you go out to a bar one night, right? Once again, this was me, and you get in this club and you start overspending, and you the trick of the night. You buying everybody drinks. You get home like, dang, I shouldn't have did that. Now I need this money for rent. You know what I'm saying? So don't make any bad decisions or step out of your control zone, and really stay disciplined with your budgeting and whatever system you got going on, and make sure your money is doing what it got to do, right? But when it comes to investing, he said it's very, very simple. First, you want to understand that we're looking for the bigger picture. We're not looking to get rich today. We're not looking to get rich tomorrow. But if we stay consistent to the plan, we surely will get rich. He said the first thing you want to do is you want to pick 5 stocks that are of high value, that you can visualize and see being relevant in the next 5 to 10 years, right? And he said most people mistake, especially when it comes to investments, like I said, they want to overcomplicate it. They want to know, okay, well, when's the best time to get in? Oh, the market may crash. Oh, the market may do this. Or they see this thing on the news that's driving fear, and they're like, oh, I'm investing in that. Let me go and sell it. And he said, no. And I can vouch for this from a trading perspective too, because this is what I was doing with crypto prior.
Yeah.
One of the easiest things you can do is called DCA, and it's dollar cost averaging. And it's simply picking an amount you want to invest, a day you want to invest that amount, and just doing it repeatedly without even caring what the market is doing or where it's at, right? So the 5 stocks, I'm actually giving to y'all. The 5 stocks that he gave was one, and I don't even think he gave this one. I don't know which ones he gave, but it's a mix of what he gave and what I did. One is TSM, which is Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing. I did $10 every single Friday of that. Every single Friday. For the last 2 years, $10. That's all I did. Second one is Palantir Technologies, which is a defense company. And we've been doing a lot of stuff with war lately, so I did that one. Another one was Nvidia, right? I think we all are aware of Nvidia as a chip manufacturing company and how important it is to the computer graphics, processors, and XYZ and software in general. Number 4 was Tesla, right? And then number 5, I had Netflix, but I actually switched it to an ETF, Shield, SHLD. And I'll never forget it. I told my line brothers this, and I was like, yo, after 2 years, that was 5. So that means every Friday I invested $50 every Friday. After 2 years, it was like at $6,000. And as years go by, it exponentially starts to grow because a lot of these stocks performed well over the years. Very, very well. You know what I'm saying? So I started to realize, like, dang, I could have easily did $20 each stop, $30 each stop, $50 each stop. And it's not about how much money I'm looking at, but it's more so understanding, like, okay, I started today. Where is it going to look like in 20 years? You know what I'm saying? And that's why I tell, like, when I look at you in college, it's like, bro, if I would have knew what I knew now, I would be doing this right now. Because by the time you're pushing 30, bare minimum, you should easily be able to have a down payment for a house, right? But the real blessing is if you actually can have the discipline and have the consistency to follow this strategy and have a down payment on the house, you're not even going to have to use that as a down payment. You're 9 times out of 10 going to be successful in other areas of life where you're going to have cash flow that you're going to be able to use to go and purchase that house or whatever you want to have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's definitely 1,000%. As a college student, that's what I'm doing. Like I said, it may not have to be 5. You know, you can tweak it based on your financial situation, but just pick 3 top performing stocks that you see being valuable to the economy in the next 5 to 10 years. You could do $5 a day. I mean, not $5 a day, $5 a week, $5 every other week, $10 a week, but whatever it is, just stay consistent at it. And just, you don't even got to look. Sometimes I don't even look at it. I look back at it. It's like, oh, snap. This joint going crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for my final question, this is a personal question.
Yeah, talk to me.
What could I do while I'm on the yard?
Yeah.
To help grow the chapter's money? Like what could I do in terms of the chapter's finances to help grow the chapter's exchequer?
So what I did, we had fundraisers, man. And when I look back at it, I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know why they let us do this, but we had places like Chipotle and Tropical Smoothie, and they'll let us host fundraisers, and like during a certain window, so like from like 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., anybody who come in there and purchase anything, we'll get a percentage of it. Yeah. And like from a business perspective, that don't make sense because I'm gonna be honest, majority of that was their natural foot traffic. That wasn't us bringing business to them. That was the people they were already gonna get. We was really just getting the cut, and we didn't have to pay for it. So I don't get why they did it, but we used to do that. But I'm gonna be honest, man. A big portion of our X came from me throwing parties. Like,
yeah.
Like when I got into that game, bro, it changed everything because it was a point where you could do it through a campus perspective, right? So we could like rent out one of the big rooms in campus. That we didn't have to pay for that. School to provide the security. If anything, we were paying for the DJ, which was like maybe 100. We'll go find a campus DJ. We're not trying to get the best DJ out in the city. We go get a campus DJ who want to come up, pay some dollars, and you charge 5 for girls, 10 for guys, and like you really popping on campus, like that's another thing that we benefit from. Like, we ran hard. Like wherever we said to be, the campus was there. So that gave us money. But then, like I said, as I got into real party promoting, I developed relationships with the club. I was that person that made sure, because those people in my city, and they still do this, and it make me mad. They know we lit, so they try to profit off of our brand. It's like, no, you're not about to put Kappa, Nupe, no Snow Bunny on. I said Snow Bunny, no Bunny on nothing without paying our exchequer. That's just how it is. Even if you want, like, cause we had a dude that used to do, and this is why I took over. We had a dude that wasn't a Nupe, wasn't a Q, and did not go to my school, but was always hosting the Pretty Nasties. And it got to a point, I'm like, yo, you don't got to just pay me as a promoter because I'm a Nupe. You got to pay my ex.
Yeah.
This brand is way bigger than me. You feel me? So I always made sure the ex got a cut. You know what I'm saying? And that was like the bottom line. So every party I did, like whether it was Pretty Nasty, Pretty Iced Out, we did a lot of different things. Like that was my deal when I came to tell you, like, bro, I'll promote this party. You can pay me my 10, 20% or whatever. But for me to do so, you have to pay my chapter. You know what I'm saying? And like we did parties probably really like every 1 or 2 months. So that was always like an extra $200-$500 going in there on top of the other things we did. We did stuff like, I'm pretty sure y'all do a Phi Nu Pi. Like when people come and pie y'all. So of course, if we ran the yard, you know the girls hated us. So like they used to love that. They used to come through and pies as hard as they could. What else we used to do, man? And it's really just about getting creative too. Because it's crazy. My young boy said this. I said, man, just take whatever skills y'all got and look for a way to monetize them. Because that's all I did. Promoting was my skill. Gathering people was my skill, so I found a way to use that skill and get the chapter paid. We got young boys on the yard right now that cut hair. We got young boy on the yard right now. He has a car wash business. So it's like, bro, everybody know y'all natural prices. You can host an event with the Kappa name, discount the price, and just put all proceeds to the X.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just like, why not? Like, and I know someone was like, well, dang, I may not getting paid, but it's like, understand this: the brand itself can bring you more traction. The brand itself, right, should put your business on a higher pedestal. And it's like, people may not want to pay that $40 cut, but if they paid that $10 cut and you gave them the best cut, the $40 is a little bit more doable now. You just develop a relationship and possibly met a new client. So it's like, that's another thing that you can do as well. Like, you really just got to think, man. And now y'all got ChatGPT these days, so it's a lot easier for sure.
Nah, for sure. But as we wrap up, we're going to our next segment called Big Money News. I just let you know what's going on around campus and what we have in plan. April 12th, we have a 2K tournament coming up.
Okay.
It's $3 to get in, or you could bring 3 canned foods. It's in the gaming center on campus. We also have a Q's versus Nupes game coming up.
Okay. We did one of those too.
Yeah, they will be confirmed. They will be announced. I mean, we should be having a pretty nasty party after that.
Okay.
That'll be fun. And then Kappa Week coming up. It's actually our charter day. Our charter date is April 20th.
Okay.
Yeah, but the Kappa Week is April 19th through the 25th. So I mean, we got some events coming up for the campus. And stuff like that. It should be fun. We should go while the semester winds down as it comes to a close. We got some lit events to for the students to come to. But as we closing, so if you take anything away from today, budget your money, save consistently, and start investing early. It's Andre Phillips, current pole marker Beta Mu. It's my guy, my new
Dantae Robinson, man. Nice to meet
you. You know what I'm saying? He the man with the plan, especially with the money. It's a wrap. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate you,
y'all, man. Appreciate you, bro.